Would you ever put your children in public school?
Would I?
Yeah.
Current culture, absolutely not.
What if someone paid you like $1 million per child to get a full high school, middle school experience in the public school system in this current culture?
I probably, I don't know, this could be wrong. I maybe would, and then I would take some of that money to figure out some way to counteract all of the garbage that they would learn in
They have
school.
a private teacher when they get back
Yeah, to unschool them.
to unschool them. Like, what'd you learn today? Okay, let's fix
Well,
that.
it would come. I think I would have to let my kids decide. And I'd be like, okay, if I paid you to go into an environment that was hostile and was not godly, and there was going to be some garbage there, like, are you strong enough to like be a witness in the enemy's camp? And is it wrong to pay our children to witness?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Like, would I like if you do evangelism, right? But like, would it be wrong for me to pay you $1 million to go preach, somewhere you don't want to go preach?
It's like what we do with missionaries. I mean, we're supporting missionaries,
Yeah,
right?
but missionaries are broke. Like, there's no missionaries like building up a 401k while they're being missionaries.
Like, pay me to go to.
I don't know
place.
a single missionary that was a missionary for 20 years and then came back and like had anything physical or financial to show for it. You know what I mean? It's not like you go out and be a missionary for 10 years, then you come back and buy $1 million house and retire.
Yeah.
That would be a little suspicious, I think.
Well, back to schools. Let's watch this.
Okay.
And then let me see what you think.
Yeah, I'm curious. Was that Perkiomen Valley?
Perkiomen Valley. So she's speaking at a school district school board.
Heidi Brown, Lower Frederick. Well, folks, evil is here. Satan has come for our children, right in front of us. We're not hateful. We are trying to protect our children. What's happening and what I see on the internet from some of those that have spoken, children dancing around males dressed as females in very provocative clothing, being cheered on. That's what's happening. That's what's going to be in our bathrooms with our young girls. It's unbelievable. We're living it right now. Satan is here. He is after our children. We need to stand up. We need to continue this fight. We are doing such an injustice to our children and our girls. It is so upsetting. This is a mental illness that you are forcing on our children to be participants in. It's a mental illness. You're not going to convince me of anything else. There are two genders, male and female. You can decide and pretend to be anything you want, and I will be respectful, as long as you're respectful to me. We are crossing the line, forcing our children to believe in this. Unbelievable. Thank you to the board members that fought to keep this in place, 720. And I pray for what is to come when the community hears of this.
Oh, yeah. I've seen quite a few of these parents speaking up. The best ones are when they bring the literature that is in the schools that
they start reading it.
And they read it, and they're like, no, stop. You can't read that filth. I'm like, well, you're reading it to the children, and I can't read it to a bunch of adults? Like, what are you talking about?
It's interesting she said it's a mental illness and you're forcing it upon our children.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, all the psychologists, doctors, like 30 years ago would say it's a mental illness.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody leading up to this point would say it's a mental illness. For someone to think they're a woman when they're actually a man and vice versa.
Yep.
And then it's like, so why do you think this even happened? Like, what caused this to just immediately now, we're going to put in schools, we're going to tell people it's all good, it's a crime in many places to come against that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have no idea. I really have no idea. I mean, my dad's 70 something, and if he's like, "Hey guys, I am a bear. I am a Smoky Mountain bear, and I want to be called Bear." I'm like, "Dad, we love you very much, but you're not a bear, Dad." You know what I mean? Like, that's not what you are. That's compassion. Compassion isn't, okay, like, come on, guys, society, Walmart people, everywhere dad goes now, we all need to address him as bear. And if we don't, it's just a knife to the heart. It just destroys his identity. It's like, no, that's not compassion. Allowing a delusion to continue is not compassion. That's,
right.
What's that old phrase? You tell somebody what they want to hear for you, and you tell them what they need to hear for them. And if you think about that statement for a second, you're like, hold on, like,
yeah,
that's exactly it. Like, I'll say whatever you want me to say because I don't care about you. I'll just say whatever makes you happy. Like, oh, sure, bless your heart, little buddy. You be a fox, you be a woman, you be whatever you want to do. Like, but that's not helping that person. I'm telling you, I'm affirming your garbage because I'm selfish because I don't want to address the real issue of, hey, this is a real problem.
Right.
Like, this is a real mental problem that we need to address.
Yeah.
So instead of me addressing it, I'll just continue with your game.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It's really kicking the can down the road.
Yeah,
Because
well,
the
it's
major argument
worse
is
for
that
them.
people are suicidal.
Yeah.
And it's trying to prevent that. It's trying to help them
Yeah.
not become depressed. But the problem is you're kicking the can down the road more and more and more.
Yeah.
And eventually they're probably going to be even more suicidal when they realize, what have I done?
There's no proof that works. If I told you I'm a woman and then you all affirm it, and then a little while later I'm a woman fox, and then you affirm that, and then now I'm a black woman fox and you affirm that, and then now I've got all these other things, and like I'll never be happy doing that. The light bulb moment for me was actually years ago. There was a woman out west that fought for years to get her driver's license from F on her driver's license for female to an M. Like, she wanted the state to legally recognize her as a male. And I mean, she fought for years in the court system. Like, she almost pioneered some of this stuff. And like, I saw the interview, and like, she came out of the courtroom just grinning ear to ear, and she was so excited that now on the license it said M, not F.
Well,
But
they gave that to her. They granted that.
They granted it to her. But what happened when she went home and sat down to watch television? Nothing. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
She didn't feel any, like, she was excited because she'd won this court battle, but like, that little number on her driver's license didn't change a thing. Nothing. Nothing changed at all.
Now there's going to be something else.
Yeah, that didn't fulfill her. Like, it wasn't like after that was done, like, okay, now, good report. She's lived the last 20 years perfectly happy, just celebrating life. Like, no, that's, and then now I don't know what her personal story is, but I guarantee you it continued and continued and continued and continued. Because anytime you pursue something that isn't the truth, you never reach your destination. You just chase, and you'll never arrive.
Right.
Just like sin. If you chase sin and fulfillment and pleasure, and there's only one thing that fulfills you, and there's no shortcuts.
And it just falls into line with all this other stuff, hoping to get this, hoping to get that, then my life will be better, then my life will be
Which is another lie we
fulfilled.
believe. Yeah. Once I graduate, I'll be happy. Once
I get
everyone
married,
recognizes
once I
me.
have this, once I have that, once I have children, once I get this home.
Once everybody calls me by my pronouns, then I'll be happy. It's like, no, I'm sorry, you won't, actually.
And the scary part is like they're going to be still unhappy. But then they're going to say, well, this group of people won't acknowledge me. This church, these Christians, these evil Christians.
They don't accept
once
me.
they're gone, or once they agree with me, then I'll be very happy.
And once
because they must be the reason why I'm so unhappy. That's it. It's like always pointing, and the enemy is so shrewd in that.
And then once they kill the opposition, they still won't be happy.
There's another clip that I think
they'll just be murderers.
is very. This even takes it home into a whole nother way, and I'd like to hear what you think about this.
Oh boy.
Hi, for those that don't know me, my name is Aurora Regino, and I am the mother that filed the lawsuit in federal court against Chico Unified for transitioning my daughter without my knowledge. I'm here today to tell my story so parents and the public know what is going on in our schools. Last year, my 11-year-old daughter was in elementary school here at Chico Unified, and her elementary school transitioned her from female to male behind my back. Shortly before this happened, my father had recently passed away, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. My daughter was distressed and began questioning her sexuality, so she decided to reach out to a wellness counselor at her elementary school. The day my daughter shared with her guidance counselor that she felt like a boy, the counselor immediately affirmed this new identity. From then on, the counselor continued to have one-on-one meetings with my daughter without my knowledge. During one of those one-on-one meetings, my daughter told the counselor she wanted to tell me about her new identity. The counselor ignored her requests and did nothing to support her in letting me know what was going on at school.
So back to your earlier question, I would not put my kids in school. No.
It's so wild.
Yeah, that is so twisted.
It's so wild that it's the first thing is like I'm approving you, because there has to be mental illness. Like think about, there has to be certain people that are having a mental illness or some sort of
real thing
that's off,
Yeah.
and that's not even being questioned. It seems
No,
it's just
yeah.
okay. You say you're a man, great. If you say you're a woman, great. They're not even taking the proper protocols of saying. Well, even then, I mean, it's all, but they're not. It's like they're not even testing it at
Yeah.
one bit. That this could be something
and for some reason, like mental illness that relates to being a man or a woman is accepted and promoted, but all other forms of mental illness are still mental illness. Like if I get pulled over by the police for speeding and I identify as not speeding, or if I identify as right in this conversation, or if I identify as another race, or like none of those are accepted. You know what I mean? I can't identify as Japanese and go to Japan and be like, konnichiwa or whatever. Like,
I'm a citizen.
Like, no,
I'm your king.
no, like we're gonna put you in the institution and we're gonna get you some help because you're not Japanese.
Right, so it's like a free card.
You're not.
Where you could say whatever you want concerning the gender, sexuality, whatever.
But it's only
say whatever you want.
applicable to gender. Like if I say I'm a woman, society will accept it. But if I say I'm black, they'll be like, no, that's totally different. Like how is my genitalia different than just my skin color? Like skin color literally means nothing. Like literally. You know what I mean? Like that one would be a delusion I would go along with a lot easier. If I saw a black guy who's like, I'm white, all right, bro. Like, because that really doesn't make a difference. Like if you want to identify as white, like sure, like that doesn't even. I mean, it's still a delusion, but like that's not gonna make much of a difference. But if you say you're a woman, like, wait, you're gonna have a baby now? You're gonna breastfeed now? Like, how's that?
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't. It's absurd, brother.
Right. And the wild part is it's like a free pass to say whatever you want, to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And eventually there's not going to be any sex or gender. That's where it's leading to. There's no sex. But here's the crazy, I mean, the part that's going to be more crazy, it's going to backfire on everyone.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the whole thing with Olympics and with sports.
Yep.
Now you can get a bunch of biological males dominate everything.
Lawsuits. Mm-hmm. Did you know that, I was reading this a little while ago, if a man transitions to become a woman and then has a sexual relationship with a man and not telling the man that it was a man, I'm already confused. But anyway, like that's like that could be considered pretty huge, pretty big problem there. Like you could actually get sued, like you could go to jail. It's almost considered like rape because you didn't inform them that you weren't who you really said that you were. I mean, there's already a few lawsuits that have happened that way.
Of someone saying that they were a man, but they're really a woman,
Correct.
or vice versa.
Yeah, and then it's late, it's dark, they're at the bar, whatever happens. I don't know how all that's too much for me. But anyway, like there's serious repercussions that are going to come from that, and so like that's just as my dad would say, that's a can of worms you don't want to open.
Right. Seems like the government knows, and these people know that this is all craziness.
Yeah, it's
all craziness, and it's either a plan of just complete demonic destruction.
It has to be.
Or it's just like a parent not disciplining their child.
Right.
And part of me is like, wow, a big part of me is like schools should have discipline in there. They used to spank children. And now you got children just being disrespectful, children robbing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, it's because they're not being disciplined. It all goes back to the Bible. The Bible's saying discipline, train your child in the way they should go. Don't spare the rod, save their soul from hell. All these different things, whether you spank it or not, like children need to be disciplined. And now you have the world and the government and everyone else just letting people do whatever they want, whatever feels good.
Can you imagine being like a rational, sane teacher in this environment? Like where you're just like you're literally passionate about teaching elementary kids how to read and write. Like that's what God put you here to do. Like you love it. And then now your leadership is telling you all this stuff that you have to do, and like you have to call kids by their pronouns, and if they come to you, like you have to go, and you're just like, I'm a teacher.
Wow.
Like I know alphabet and I know vocabulary and grammar, and like I just want to do that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it would be so hard to be a teacher nowadays. Like, I have so much more appreciation for teachers and police officers over the last 10 years. Like, I still don't understand how there's even police in Portland. Like, I have so much respect. Like, I want to go to Portland and just, like, give those policemen, like, a handshake and a I don't know, cook them a good pizza. I don't know, something. Because, like, The fact, like, why they haven't all just let that city just fall apart, like, because they just get hated on.
Yeah.
And they're just, like, doing their best to keep everything together. I'm like, man, I salute you guys. Like,
right.
And all the teachers out there that are literally just trying to teach math and algebra and reading and writing, like, man, good job, guys.
Brings up a good point.
Good job.
Because it's like, you think, how could you do that?
I'd bail. I'd be like, this is nonsense. But then you're abandoning the kids.
Right. So now you're leaving a void for other people to come in that agree with this crazy wickedness. And now even more teachers are filling the void of wickedness. So that is hard. It's like, what if you were forced to call children by whatever pronouns they want to be called by?
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
But it's like, if you don't take that place, now more evil is going to come in.
But then also, parents... I don't know what a strike looks like against a school, but like if this was happening and I was like gonna get all involved in it, like I would try to just literally get all the parents to pull their kids out of the school, or at least all the sane parents. And like if the school wants to be run by purple-haired people, like that's great, and all the parents can send their kids there. But like all the sane ones, like let's just forget all this. Like let's start our own school. Let's go independent. Like.
Yeah.
And that's sad too, because then you're just abandoning the ship to sink. And it's like, if we're all in the boat, like, yeah, we could abandon it, but like, we're also trying to keep everyone else from sinking around us. But the people that are trying to save the boat from sinking are the ones that get hated on. So it's like, you can only handle so much hate before like, all right, just go down with the ship. We're out.
And here's where I think it's all
tough.
leading to, where states, because they know, all the nations know that America cannot be defeated externally.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be internally.
And that's
so
what this
what's
is,
happening
this
is
it.
all these people are going to leave California,
We're in the middle of a war.
leave New York, all these states. Eventually, it could be the states are like, we're going to succeed. We're going to leave
because
the United
if we
States.
split, if we divide the country, now we can go in and maybe win that war.
Right, because now there's division. Now let's come and let's attack, or have them attack each other. Another civil war.
Yep.
So
I mean,
it's all being set up, and that's the hard part, because it's like, well, don't leave California then. Don't leave. Keep the nation together, or the nation will be destroyed. So it's all a perfect storm.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you know, and what would you do in that spot? Like if you lived in California and you were surrounded by this, like would you stay and try to fight, or would you just move to Tennessee and live on a nice, quiet, dead-end road?
And see, that's a good
That's
point.
a hard one.
For anyone watching right now, like the ultimate thing is you got to seek the Lord. Because the Lord, right now, our lives are not our own. So as Christians, our lives aren't ours. Our lives belong to Him. And so as hard as it may be, we got to follow His voice and His direction. He may want you to leave California, New York, and these other wicked states. But it's like He may want you to stay for a specific reason and purpose. And we all have to be willing to do that.
Your will, Father. That's my prayer every morning.
Your will be done. Yeah. Come on. So wherever you are, be encouraged. God will not be mocked. Judgment could come, but He wants to save this nation. He wants souls to be saved. But it might reach the point where it's just going to boil over. Just do whatever the Lord wants you to do. Follow His voice. He'll lead you.
Stay strong, teachers.
Boom.